you cannot outsource identity. And so many clients, I had so many conversations with so many clients, and literally they all want to manifest something. And people all come to me and say, my manifestation doesn't work, and I want to manifest this, and I want to get this. And it's like, you need to stop for 1 minute. Like, you need to pause for 1 moment and understand that, first of all, like, number one, you have to literally take things off the plate. So you cannot keep adding to it. If you have a plate of dinner, you cannot keep adding things onto it. You need to start taking things off the plate first. And it's like wearing a really so many layers of coats and stripping the layers of clothing until you get to the core of who you are. So essentially, once you can understand what your true identity is, once you can understand what the core of yourself is, then you will be able to actually move forward. Because first and foremost, you cannot outsource identity. It's impossible because you cannot buy your own identity. You have to literally take off the things that no longer work, and then you'll be able to actually start creating. But the moment you understand that your identity at the inner core of you is the thing that you want to bring out, but when you were a child, when you were growing up, when you've been experiencing things that made you feel really strong emotions, that is the time when things started clicking in your mind and you started keeping them and logging them in your mind as your own. So you started believing the words you heard somewhere, believing someone else's opinions, and then they literally sit in your mind and being replayed as your own thoughts. And first and foremost, in literally anything to do with identity, you need to take it off. So it's like you're walking around in the summer wearing 15 coats. No one needs to wear 15 coats in the summer. So literally, if your life was summer, you do not need to wear 15 coats. You need to take the coats off. And at the core of who you are is where you are comfortable. So the moment you start stripping off the old beliefs, the things that people tell you should be believing, the things that you think are true that are no longer true, the things that you've heard that you adopted as your own, that's the moment you're taking the coats off. And eventually you sit in the middle comfortable because you understand that you've taken off all the old conditioning, all the old paradigms, all the old patterns, and you have yourself at the core of who you are. And that is the place where you start creating. So when I talk about identity, when I talk about not being able to outsource your identity, it's because you can buy proximity to coaches, you can buy support, you can buy things like strategy. I mean, go on to ChatGPT, it'll give you so many strategies. Why don't the strategies work? Because at the core of who you are, if there are things clashing continuously, you cannot bring the change. It's that simple. So if you literally have a thought of, I want to be wealthy, and I want to have money, enough money to support my family. I want to be financially stable and free in order to live my life as much to the fullest as much as I want. And then inside of you, your old identity is the identity of scarcity, the identity of lack, the identity of not having enough, the identity of coming from the place where people tell you only bad people have money, where people will tell you that money is bad, where there will be deep shame connected with money, where there will be so many experiences in your past that you took on that wasn't even yours to carry. The moment those two things happen, there's cognitive dissonance that happens. So your nervous system will look at the two things. You're telling me you want to be wealthy. You're telling me you want to be super free financially. And on the other hand, you holding all these things that no longer work, all of the old patterns, all of the old beliefs, all of the things that people used to say to you that you think are yours. And how can you hold those two together? It's impossible. You're going to have to drop one. And if you don't drop the old beliefs, the old codes that you're wearing, the new thing cannot take hold. It's impossible. You cannot take hold. And even if it does, by some divine miracle, you cannot hold it, because all the beliefs, you can literally suppress them if you want, but how long can you suppress them for? So cognitive dissonance will mean that two things can't coexist at the same time, which will mean then it will get dropped. And one of them will get dropped. And what can get dropped? What is like the most likely thing that can get dropped? Of course, the new thing, because the new thing is not embedded in you just yet. You don't truly yet believe that you can be wealthy. So you're essentially going to drop that because it will not feel possible. So the moment you understand that what you have on the inside of you dictates every single thing that happens in your life, you will understand that you don't have to live the same way over and over and over and over again. You will understand that actually the change happens on the inside, and you will not be spending hundreds of hours looking through different frameworks, different strategies, different ways of making things happen, different manifesting methods. They all work. They all work. If the soil is right, if the ground is right, putting the right seed in and tend into it in whatever way you prefer will yield you the results. And that is the most incredible part, that this will always bring you the results, but you have to have the right background for it. So that is essentially what I mean when I talk about identity not being able to be outsourced. The identity, your work is inside of you. And if you can follow these things, follow this path, then you will know that in the end of the day, it starts with you. So the question would be, are you ready for this work to happen? Because we are not always ready. We try to think and convince ourselves that we're ready, but we're not always prepared to what the journey has to deliver to us. And the moment you start taking things off that no longer belong to you, it can be quite scary and it can be quite off-putting. And the key is there to actually keep going. The key is there to take yourself on this journey and trust that this journey has you. Like the support will be found when it's needed. But when you want to manifest things, when you want to quantum leap, the core of everything will be your identity. And you have so many people tell you, oh, wow, you need to just walk like this person and talk like this person and become this person. And it feels a bit abstract, because how do I become this person when I'm not this person right now? The core will always stay the same. You take on small, like if you were to challenge yourself, literally just take on one small thing that you believe you, as this person who already has what you want, does. What would it be? Would it be the fact that you stop watching news? Would it be the fact that you stop listening to gossip? Would it be the fact that you stop surrounding yourself, just for one day, you stop surrounding yourself with people who are negative? What could it be? What could be the one thing you could take away literally today, implement in 2 minutes' time? What could it be? Could it be that you actually start betting on yourself? You will read 5 pages of this book that you knew that's going to change your life, yet you haven't done that yet. It doesn't happen with this massive avalanche. Never does. People will have you believe that they've been working at it for ages, and then all of a sudden, like, this thing happens and everything changes. But the true change, the true staying change that doesn't hurt so much, is the step-by-step change. Is the change that takes you over time. And some people don't want to do it because it will take forever, but we are not here. We are not here to dictate how long things take. We are here to be on the journey. We are here to enjoy every moment of the journey. It's not just grinding your teeth and pushing through. This is the moment where we can actually experience ourselves as true to ourselves. The authenticity of waking up in the morning and understanding that I don't have to lie to anyone. I don't have to lie to myself. I don't have to pretend something to be someone that I'm not, and to believe in something that I don't believe in. I think sometimes people don't understand how much freedom comes with the fact that you can wake up in the morning and you can literally be free. You can breathe free. And it all starts with identity. And it all starts the moment you stop believing in the things that are being repeated in your head and actually start questioning them and actually start picking them apart and thinking, does this really serve me? Does this really work? Is this really even my thought? Or have I heard this somewhere and now all of a sudden I've taken it as my own because I manufactured a story that goes with it that actually works? So that's all about identity. I've done a video for YouTube actually today, which will be uploaded this week, that talks way more in depth about identity and what you can do to change things and shift things in your life in order for you to have exactly what you want. And thanks for joining me here, and I hope to see you soon.